All right, we're going to try this again. I see a red light on my microphone. It says that it's working. It says we're live. It says there's a microphone. I'm going to wait till somebody comes in here and tells me if they can hear me or not. Otherwise, I'm going to have to start this thing over again. Panos, Luis, can you hear me? Yeah, can we hear? Can we hear? Do we got volume? Man, you guys are flooding in. Yes. Okay. Take two. Let me do 10 push-ups and then we can get started again. Cause I got to reset, I was all hyped up. I had my walk-in music and then it went away. Nothing like a nice pump there. Oh yeah. Veg Bang's in here, says felt like awkward elevator conversation. All right. Yeah. So what I was saying, guys, sorry if for those just joining in, I launched the live stream and there was no audio because I'm very midlife of me. And so I just started this other one. So audio's working. Awesome. Great to hear. Panos is in here. Luis is in here. Alex Dominguez is making it. Matt Byers in here. Thank you guys for showing up. So my tangent, I said, I apologize for the hat, the backwards hat. It's just such an awkward thing, it just juvenile. I just think about like growing up with my friends and we all had backwards hats. And then I see grown men in a grocery store with it. And I'm like, he feels very safe right now. And then in professional settings, I'm like oh man, like Tony Romo in a post-game interview with a backwards hat. It's like, that's our guy. That's the leader of the team, America's team. By the way, I'm not a Dallas Cowboys fan, guys. I grew up a Houston Oilers fan, regrettably. Super midlife of me, Anyway, yeah, and I see it. I think a lot of the BPN boys wear the backwards hat. Nothing against it. It's triggering to me. I am currently triggering myself. I was talking to you, I was talking to myself. I'm triggering myself. Anyway, let me know what you are running currently. What did you run today? We'll get into some boring. I had 6 easy at a 9:03 pace. Oh, that's fascinating. Let's talk about it. Stevie76 is in here. What's up, Stevie? Solomon Aeroglide 3 on sale at Zappos. Haven't taken the dive to Solomon. I haven't. We haven't gone there yet. This is the year of Brooks and Hoka. I'm finally extending my reach to those. And we're going to talk about it because I ran in some Hoka shoes, maybe the best shoe of last year, and I had no idea. So, oh man, someone just commented on the other live stream, no audio. Oh, that's terrible. We got to get him over here. Hugh wins in here. He says, how's the taper going? No tantrum? Oh man, the taper, here's the deal. I decided to go with the 3-week taper, guys. And there's a little bit of insecurity anytime I make a decision on my running front. So I always feel like I have to cite my source. So like in this case, it was Fitzinger. Okay, so 3-week plan. So like I did the over distance marathon or the over distance long run in training. I ran that marathon. I feel like I had to say, oh, well, that's the Galloway. It was a Galloway over distance long run. And now with the 3-week taper, I'm like, I was rereading Advanced Marathoning by Pete Fitzinger, and he suggests a 3-week taper with a 20% scale back, 40%, 60. And not that anyone asked me about my taper because it's just me and my kids and my wife, they're not like, how's the taper going, Dad? But if they did, I would speak to them in a British accent also so that they know that I'm better than them and certainly at least faster. A 3-week taper. I was rereading Fitzinger's Advanced Marathoning. And so I just have to reframe it to myself, really, with that, because to not get the taper crazies, to make sure I get my taper Sanies is not Sanies, for the record. And we don't do gummies. We do Korea gums. That's it. It's the only gummies we do around here, okay? It's not I'm not, and I'm traveling to Boston, and as far as I know, Korea gums are approved for travel, and we're okay. So everything's good. Anyway, I do 20, 40, 60%, but I got to reframe it like 20% down. It's just really like a scale back week. When you think about it, it's like, okay, so I did 80 miles as my peak. Well, then 64, 65, that's no big deal. And then this week, I'm doing 50 miles, touching on speed, but that's like 50 miles is like a speed week, what my normal range is for a speed week. So it's not like I'm really cutting back. I'm just doing a speed week before. And then next week, of course, yeah. No hay problema on that one. We're just gonna don't ask me to take it easy. You don't have to ask me twice. So no tantrums. We're enjoying the taper. Of course, I had my last little speed session. There was an 8 by 2 minutes, 10K pace, 8 by 1 minute, 5K pace. And then now I do have the whole like, is my knee? I've never had any knee. Is my knee? I think I need a new kneecap. Oh, these shins. I don't know if I can do that. So we got 11 days. We got extra time on this Boston because it's on a Monday. I need that extra day. Weather, I'll do the weather check-in. So 38. Well, we can't see Sunday. We can't see Monday. But the Sunday, and I'm sure it's going to change 1,000 times. Oh, it doesn't start till 10, huh? 40 degrees, 44 degrees, feels like 41. Oh man, that would be perfect. I'm sure it's going to be 90 or something. It's just going to change. Alex Dominguez is in here. He says, I did 3.5 miles easy this morning, doing another 5 to 6 easy this afternoon. The double going double. Alex, what are you running in? Zoom Fly 6? Is that it? Bang Bang's in here. Zoom Fly 6 yesterday. Sweet. I hit 48 miles on the Zoom Fly 6. And then I didn't run in it anymore. I started running in all these other shoes. I'm so far behind. I'm so far behind. I started running in these Chinese shoes. There's like different brands that, and I want to translate the Chinese brands to what the shoes that we all typically run in, except for Solomon. If it's like a Solomon, we're gonna miss that one because I have done Aeroglide. I know Joanna was really big on the Aeroglide 3. Everyone's really liking that shoe, but so I ran in the Flame 3.5, 361. That's the brand, and then I ran in an X Step. Anyway, there's all these speed shoes, and then I like to run in race shoes. So I ran a lot in the Deviate Nitro Elite V3. So this is my problem with shoes like the Zoom Fly 6 in the Endorphin Speed, which I like, is that I'd rather just run in the race shoe. And so like, where does it fit? Now, I'm just going to talk about this shoe right now because the shoe I ran in this morning right there is the Hoka Mach X2. They say Hoka. How do I say it? If I was British, I say it different. Hoka? No, something. Anyway, I ran in the shoe. That's the shoe of the year for me last year. One run. I know. One run. Early overreaction. I know it tore up some people's Achilles, but that shoe, it feels like a race day shoe. I know it's 8.9 ounces in my size, US men's size 9, but it feels like a race day shoe. It really does. It feels so good underfoot. I was like, can I take this to Boston? I really, really like it. And, but it made me think like, so this is a race day shoe, but I train in it. But I train in my race day shoes and I can race in this. There's no difference between that and a race day shoe, really, the way that I use shoes. The only shoe that I've ever been like, 2 shoes, I've done it. The Metaspeed and the Alpha Fly, the original Metaspeed. I was like, I paid too much money for these. I'm not wasting any miles in training. These shoes, I'm only going to race my races in. It's my strictly race day shoe. But now shoes are so durable. Like I've got 60 to 70 miles in both the Puma super shoes, the Fast R2 and the Deviate Nitro Elite V3. I always have to think when I try to remember the name for those shoes. That's tough. It's a big ask for me to think. But anyway, I'm sure those shoes can go like 200 miles. I can train in them. I can run in them. So I don't know. Let me know if you guys like have your like race day shoe that you don't touch and it's only for race day, or then if you like also train in them. So Stevie76 is apparently the Japanese can do interrogations without your lawyer present. I hope they're not playing "What did the fox say?" and repeat, because that would be torture. It would, guys. We didn't have a live stream on Wednesday. We didn't. I was in a conference. We did a leadership conference for a couple of days. They do that in coffee too. I know it's weird, right? You think, okay, we'll just go to the coffee thing. No, Starbucks. When I was with Starbucks, they flew me out to Chicago, and there's like this whole thing. John Legend played. Brene Brown spoke. I mean, they went hard. They go really hard with these conferences. So I was busy on Wednesday, and I wasn't. But one of the teams they had a guy on the computer who would play that song every time they were called on. So it was like, "What did the fox say?" So I heard it most of Wednesday, and I can attest that had I have to listen to that, it's torture. And by the way, people have been reaching out on like Instagram, and people have been reaching out like on YouTube about Matt Fox because he's my coach up until Boston, and he's written the plans, and I run it, and there's communication in the Discord. I can't speak to where he's at or any of all of the stuff. I know yesterday I was able to join the Kafuzi live stream, and there was like talk in there about him, an article being detained and all this stuff. I don't know anything about that. So I don't, maybe if that's true, they still let him coach. I don't know, but certainly do not have any pertinent information relevant to that whole situation. Bang Bang says MN is finally in the 50 to 60s. Yeah, that's amazing. It's 80 to 90 here. I want to do some afternoon runs next week, just cuz nice and slow, get the heat adaptations. But if Boston ends up being in the 40s, that would be quite excellent. I'm not ready for it. Matt Byers in here. He says rest day today. Steezy 4 yesterday, and the rival fly 4. I think Matt Byer, our quota for Takumi Sen, it's got to go. We no longer talk about the Takumi Sen anymore. Every single live stream, we have to talk about the rival fly 4 until you get it to 100 miles, unless you've already done it. So, cite my source. 2 things. After Boston, I'm going to return to a big aerobic base building block. I've been talking about that. We're going to do Maffetone. We're going to say math, and I'm just going to go and do a strict, like maybe 6-week block. I was going to do a bigger block. The problem is I reread a book called The Speed of Endurance by Jason Karp. The Speed of Endurance by Jason Karp. And it's really his idea is that you can't run a faster marathon. You're not very fast, especially if you picked up running like I did at the age of 40, midlife. I never ran in high school. I never ran in college. I never did proper speed development, so I don't have it. So he says, like, go back to the roots, right? Like, start your marathon build 40 weeks out. Do some speed, like anaerobic speed, like a little bit of sprinting. I know you're a marathon, but like develop that a little bit. 4 weeks, right? Then 4 weeks of this, then 4 weeks of that. He's got a whole system. And that is very interesting to me. And I really want to do that. As such, the Rival Fly 4, you might have talked me into it, Matt. And also, what's the other little sneaky Nike? Not the Dragonfly, Streak Fly, or as Connor from Running Warehouse says, the Shriek Fly. So the 2, I'm gonna look into that as well because I'm gonna need it for some sped. Andrew Chosen here. He says tapering. Race for me this Sunday. It's going to be a cold one. Feels like 26 and very windy. Still going to wear a singlet. It's the way to go. Andrew, I'm going to tell you, when I ran the Austin International Half, it was 28, feels like 11. And I had layers, and I lost it in my hands. The thing is the gloves, and had little warmers, and I kept those to like mile 4 or 5. Then I tossed them. I wish I would have kept them. But That's just me. I could be weak. I did see in the first couple miles, I did see Matt Choi, and he was shirtless. He went shirtless the whole time. And I'm not saying that you should go shirtless, but I'm saying I probably wish I would have gone with the singlet on that one. So Wayne's in here. He says running in the DV8 Nitro Elite 3 in London. Running YouTube told me I should. Well, you got Wayne. What do you? I mean, that was almost my Boston shoe. It was almost. If I didn't have this like embargo shoe that I'm running in, which also has my half marathon PB, I would definitely run in the DV8 Nitro Elite version 3. I ran that marathon in training in the DV8 Nitro Elite V3. Yeah. Bang Bang Center says Hakua, British. Hakua. Hakua. Mach X2. All right. Well, yeah. So Matt Byers in here, he says, we still got time for the rival fly quota because he's only at 63 miles. So anyway, that's what's been going on with the taper. And that's kind of how I'm restructuring it. So far, just the minor stress of wondering if I need a new knee replacement. But other than the kid situation. So I don't know, like when you guys travel, you've got kids, they got to go somewhere. Okay. You just can't leave them at the house, home alone. Apparently that's not approved. It's frowned upon. I got so much family, and family is usually like, okay, this kid's going here. This kid, we split them up. When I ran Buffalo the week before, they all called out. Now in retail and in coffee, right? There's call outs. It happens a lot. People, it's not a high paying job. People don't need it. Call a lot of times. Now, Starbucks, it was an issue. Like 10 years ago, I was there and people were calling out, and I'm making coffee with my feet and I'm holding it together. It's by a string, and I'm talking to like the two people who didn't call out. And I'm like, it gets better. It gets better. Don't quit. And then it never gets better. This is not the case all the time everywhere, just in that instance. And my family started calling out. They're like, oh, I forgot we're going to be at the lake. We're not going to be able to watch your kids. So, and I'm like, and that was before Buffalo. So we did have a little snafu of sorts this week, but I think it's covered. I would still run Boston, but I would have to go solo, and my wife wouldn't come if she had to stay and watch the kids, which I think we got covered. So that's my wife is the issue here, and she's hopefully coming along for the ride. But that's the only stress. It's the only taper crazy stress is, getting people not to call out on my children. So Luis Becerra's in here. He says embargo shoes. Yeah, Luis, I don't, oh man, ADD. Some people send me shoes, not very frequently. I'm not a shoe tuber. It's great. It allows me to be honest. And even when they send me the shoes, I'm still honest. Like this company, okay, Mount to Coast, they sent me shoes. They were like the first ones to send me shoes. They sent me shoes a year or two ago, or whenever they launched. Maybe it was last year. And I like this shoe. This is the R1. I'm holding the R1. It's a collab. It's a collab shoe. Panda Prank. It's got some street credibility, transcend distance. That's their slogan. They sent this to me, and I've been wearing it casually. I'm going to run an ultra in that thing. Or at least in training after Boston, probably in the whole big math block. So, but the thing, like I didn't. Yeah, I did. I took a dump on the S1. The R1 I really like. S1 I didn't like so much. So I'm surprised they sent me like a Twilight edition of that shoe, and then they sent me that. I'm like, you guys are still sending me stuff, even though like I kind of took a dump on your shoe. But I mean, I did speak highly of the R1. So I mean, not that it matters. It's not like we're only going to send people shoes that are really respectful of our, or they give positive reviews. So Philip Watts is in here. What's up, Philip? It says ran the Baltimore 10K on Saturday, PB 45:12, 5K split 21:01, ran in the Brooks Hyperion Max 2. And I told you the Brooks Glycerin Max was awesome. You did, Philip. You told me for a long time. You told me, and you're right. So I'm in the business of making shoe reviews that should have come out last year. That's what I've been doing lately. And the Brooks Glycerin Max probably have 120 miles on it now. Can't stop running in it. I love it. It's an amazing shoe. Congrats on the PB, Philip. After Boston, I'm going to get like a tiny bell, a little Tinkerbell, a little something. I don't know what that is. Tinkerbell. I don't know if that's a thing other than the character from Peter Pan. But I'm going to have it and I'm going to ring it anytime someone says they got a PB. Bang Bang's in here. It says, bring back 1990s when parents left their kids home for a week and it was fine. Yeah, it's that midlife. It's that midlife life. I'm like, yeah, they're good. You know, middle schooler's home. He's definitely good. Stevie76 says, leave the kids with Kafuzi. I would, but I mean, I caught a little bit of the live stream yesterday. It seems like he's going to be really busy. So then it's, I don't know, like I'm going to be busy or like what I could just bring them with me and they could go on the Kafuzi shakeout with me as well, or pick up some trash. You know, they could, hey guys, we're going to fly across the country and we're going to do some chores. Oh, they would not like that. They would be. Jen Piazza's in here. She says, trying to decide between running Boston in the Edge Paris that have 107 miles on them, ran her PB in them, or a fresh pair of Vaporfly 3s after doing a lot of my workouts in the Vaporfly 3s. Thoughts? Told you, thinking it's not my strong suit, Jen. You know, 107 miles, I feel like the Edge Paris for me has held up after 200 miles. I have some Vaporfly 3s in the mail, and this is ridiculous because for a lot of reasons. One, at the beginning of the year, I was like, I'm running less in less shoes, and I'm going to run more miles in less shoes. Then I proceeded to get every shoe known to man through the Supple app mostly, so I blame that. Anyway, I have the Vaporfly 3s coming, but I don't know how they run underfoot. So if there's that much more support than the Edge Paris, because the Edge Paris I like, and it's lightweight, but like I did a 10-mile block in that shoe, and I don't know if I could sustain this the whole way. I would get a little bit lazy in my mid to 4-foot stride, and I would start landing on the heel, and it's still fine. It's great on the heel. It's okay. It's still good, but you're probably a better runner than me, Jim Piazza. More disciplined, more focused. Your form holds strong. I would assume more than me because I don't know. We'll throw it to the group. Let's take a vote. Should Jen run in the Vaporfly 3 or the Edge Paris? Don't feel like you need to commit, Jen. Just you do you. All right. Oh, and then let's see. I traded for these. I think these are the Hoka Mach 6. I finally got these in. I only did one run in them. And immediately as I ran in them, I thought, couldn't afford the Rebel V4. That's a game I play. It's a game I play with my wife where we're watching a show and then you see it's like a generic TV show and they cut to the president and it looks like Kevin Spacey, but it's not Kevin Spacey. And it's like, hey, couldn't afford Kevin Spacey. And then we laugh. It's like, you know, that they would have got him if they could have paid for him. Well, not specifically him, but now, but you know, given the boycott or whatever, but you know what I mean? So like I ran in this shoe and I was like, oh, that's nice. This shoe wishes it could be the Rebel V4. That's my take on that one. And then the other shoe that I ran in finally, since we last talked, it's a lot. I know there's a lot, guys. The Puma Mag Max, also in contention for my favorite shoe of last year. Early overreaction, one run, 18 miles, time on feet, 860 feet of elevation. This was part of my third week. This was the scale back week. So the fourth week out, a little training talk. I did the Matt Fox Staple Marathon Pace Simulator long run, 2x10K with a mile float, I think. Oh, there's a bunch of balloons. I love that. Congratulations. Happy birthday, Andrew. And then that run, the 4 weeks out, that's the one I made a video on in the humidity and the heat, which I posted last Sunday, maybe. And anyway, these shoes come in and they come in boxes. And I'm terrible at this live stream stuff because then I'm like, why I should hold on to them? And I'd be like, guys, there's an unboxing. I have a box. I don't have boxes frequently. Look what I got. And you'd be like, oh, okay, great. And then I just open it anyway, and then I don't think about it until I'm getting ready to do the live stream. And then I'm like, do you have any boxes? Oh, I already opened all of them. This one came in yesterday. It wasn't a box, it was just a regular package. And it's the Rabbit Kafuzi Run Club hoodie. Apparently, I'm going to be able to wear this in Boston a lot around town if it's in the 40s, because right now the temperature in San Antonio is in the 80s, I think. Let me see here. Because you asked, because you're just dying to know. You could just assume that it's 86 degrees. You could just assume that it's always hot here, and you would be right. So where's for Rob Thompson? I gotta find him the dew point. 56. It's low right now, Rob. It's great. Chef's kiss. So and speaking of which, Rob's in here. Rob, he says, will your wife be stationed pre or post the Wesley Tunnel? We haven't quite figured this out. It might be post. So post that it's at the finish line in the area where you wait to reunite. So my queen is there usually also doubling as my only aid station halfway. But I don't think she's going to try to navigate out and around to meet me at the Wesley Tunnel and then also meet me down there at the finish line. So it's good. She usually sends me some in the Garmin. It pops up a little more visually that I don't know, like pops up and I can see it. I get notifications on the Garmin when I had the Garmin. Anytime I get a text message. So she would say like run faster, like she would give me little words of encouragement there. With the Quaros, it like blocks it out a little bit on there. Sometimes I'm just running and then like I have no idea people are calling me or texting me, which is a good thing because I can focus on the run. But Stevie76 says retape the box and act surprised. Oh, brilliant. That's what I'm gonna do from now on. I'm gonna just like have the little scotch tape there and I'm gonna unbox it. So yeah. See what else is going on. By the way, the Mach X2 apparently has a lot of upper issues in heel rubbing, and people lose their Achilles just falls right off. So be mindful of that. Be wary. Yeah. Oh, yeah, nice. I don't know. I just write down notes and then I'm like, oh, maybe what if I run out of stuff to talk about? I'm like, I'm a yapper. I doubt I will. Saw the Minecraft movie, guys, by the way. That one, there's a guy, Gabriel, it's on my Instagram. He had a funny one-liner. It's like they told Jack Black, like, do Jack Black and then but like 70% more. Do 70% more Jack Black on every line. And it works. Because I'm looking at my 6-year-old. It's his birthday. He just turned 6. He loves Minecraft. And jokes, he doesn't need to understand the joke. He just needs to understand that you're signaling the joke. You got big eyes. You got a funny voice. You the heightened voice. You got a smile on your face. It's like Jack Black. Ah! He loves it. He literally did that for like every line of the entire movie. So the movie itself, it's a kid's movie. It's got a few parts in it, but yeah. Anyway, Rob's in here. He says, "Dew is low. Chef's kiss." I got to translate for Rob because they don't have dew point in Canada. They don't. They have humidity. Dew point, not so much. So there's no conversions. I will convert the F's to C's with the help of Chat Daniels, Chat GPT. Because I just know like 6-minute miles is 345 kilometers and 40-degree Fahrenheit is around 4.4 C. It's my only basis of comparison. Outside of that, I don't really know. Pano says, so you're launching Stride and Shine after Boston. Nice logo, by the way. Thank you. Yes, I forget this. My wife reminds me, she's like, oh, how'd the live stream go? Oh, yeah, it's good, I guess. I don't know, just talking. She's like, did you mention the coaching? I'm like, no. Oh, man, I forgot. Stride and Shine coaching. It's toxic positivity. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be the best thing. So she designed the logo. She does some side hustle on social media platforms and marketing for a friend of hers. She came up with that logo, Stride and Shine. We're gonna be more affordable than the other coaching out there, but I'm gonna take on one-on-one. I don't have plans. I'm not gonna do like a stock plans. Just gonna do one-on-one. I got certification, guys. I'm just not like out here like, oh, I read advanced marathoning 16 times in 4 days. I have read it. I have read Daniel's running formula along with tens of other running books. But I got my RRCA level 1 certification. And when I did, it was amazing because Molly Huddle was in there. And I was like, is it Molly Huddle? What is she doing in here? She must be a special guest. She's going to educate us on, mitochondria density or something. And then she's like, no, I'm just getting my certification. It's like, you or an Olympian, you could tell somebody, hey, just go out and run 6 miles. And then after that, run 100 miles. And then and they'd be like, oh, that sounds like an appropriate amount of mileage to run. Sure, you're an Olympian, I'll do that. But she said she was doing it because she feels she could coach people of her caliber already, but then coaching someone to a 4.5-hour marathon, a 5-hour marathon, she wanted to be calibrated, have all her certifications and everything. So that was pretty cool. Matthias Ventos is in here. He says, pensive thinking. Love it. Matthias, a budget buyer like myself, looking for the good deals. Matthias, just to let you know, Zappos has a deal on the Aero Glide 3, the Solomon. I don't know if you're a Solomon guy. I've never ventured out to Solomon, so I can't say. But one of these years. Maybe at the running event in San Antonio later in this year. Remind me, San Antonio SATX Marathon revealed their course, and you want to talk about it after I read some stuff here and some comments. Morgan, the running guy, says, hi, everyone. My first time attending a Midlife Runner live stream. Good luck at Boston. Well, thank you, Morgan, the running guy. That's so kind of you. Thanks for joining us on this journey. This is really just a Kafuzi Run Club live stream placeholder in disguise. It's just so. But I guess technically also a Midlife Runner live stream. So Stevie76 says, did you attend any of the Final Four festivities? I did not. I don't even remember what I did, but I was so busy, and it was so busy. San Antonio was lit up. Oh, I remember. It was my son's birthday. I was watching the Minecraft movie. That's what I was doing because in the place, I love the movie theaters now because they have these like arcade. You buy a pass, you could play like Santikos, which is local. I know Evo is the thing that goes around, but similar kind of thing. You pay money, you play as many games as you want for an hour, whatever, skee ball. Then you go watch the movie. By the way, popcorn and drinks are still like $300 if you ever want to go to the movie theater. I don't know if you guys go to movies. I don't really go to movie theaters. I didn't know that many people still went to movie theaters. I know they have passes now, but like with all the digital platforms, Hulu, Netflix, Prime, I'm surprised. So the answer is no, Stevie76. A couple of times a year, Maybe I'll take my middle child to a Spurs game. We'll do like a big family thing where we take all the kids to like Spurs games. Um, there's less interest since Wimby's got the out for the season. So Philip Watts says Minecraft movie is just fun escapism. Throw out all sanity and just enjoy the ride. Yeah, I love that. I agree. Morgan the running guy says good luck on your coaching too. Yeah, hopefully it's one. Oh yeah, back to the coaching. Yeah, so it's going to be one-on-one. So it's just going to be like one-on-one coaching. It's like two things that you really need. I feel like is that we got more balloons coaching. Yay! Happy birthday again. Is one personal care, like someone's not spread too thin, so they're like you could tell they're coaching 300 people, and then they're like giving you someone else's plan. Or like, hey, why are we doing this by effort? I thought we talked about doing this by pace. Didn't we already talk about that? And then like the other thing is like being flexible. Like even though I have core principles I believe in, like running by effort, it's like we can do pace or distance or whatever it is as well. So website should be finished up pretty soon, and then we will in May. So you can sign up through that, or you can email me either way. But I'm looking forward to that, and then we'll see how many people I can give my time to appropriately. So Matthias is in here. Congrats on the certification. Thank you, Matthias. I feel like that's the end game for me. It's like the running stuff is very fun, but I was like more meant to be a coach than a runner. So I don't know if I had a dream or the dream had me. That didn't even make any sense. But Stevie76 with the classic midlife reference. He says, are you certified? No, but I did stay in a Holiday Inn Express last night. For the win. For the win. Oh, yeah. I made a midlife reference in the Kafuzi live stream yesterday. Someone said like Kafuzi ordered a multi-pack hydration thing. And I said, Corbin Dallas multi-pack. Multi-pass. Nothing like a Fifth Element reference. Midlife. One guy laughed. And I'm like, all right, that's enough. That's all I need. It's like a dog. You just get a little treat. You got fed once. For the rest of that dog's life at the table, I got more jokes. I could make more jokes. Matthias says, good looking out. I have looked at Solomon before. Let me find a gift card. I may be making a purchase. Yeah, well, credit Stevie76 on that one. I honestly, sometimes I'll go into like a no buy, not buying any more stuff. And then I have to go to the Sepwell app and I close it out on my tab and I just don't look at it. It's like, I can't. Because there'll just be like that perfect size 9 Hoka Cielo X1 2.0. Got to. I can't not say no. Philip Watts says, sorry, but I don't have the greatest entertainment system. Still great seeing a movie in picture like Dolby or IMAX where you can escape from the distractions at home. Yeah, I do like the theater experience. We're talking about Blockbuster, and this is kind of trippy too, because we got in the leadership conference. There's people who are 70 years old. There's people who are 22 years old, mixed groups. I'm talking to one of the 22-year-olds. Somebody makes a Blockbuster reference, and I turn to the 22-year-old. I'm like, do you know what Blockbuster is? And she said, no. What is it? Or what was it? And I had to explain it. And then I had to say, well, also, the thing is, Blockbuster had the opportunity to buy out Netflix, but they believed that nobody would pass up. Nobody was going to watch the stuff, entertainment on their own TV or their computer or however. They would always want the live experience. They would always want to go to the movie theater. They would always want to go get the DVD and Blu-ray. They went out of business. They passed up. They missed it. They did not evolve. But it's still one of those moments. And I have those. And I've had those like 10 years ago even. I was training a barista at a store in 2015. I do remember this. I just making conversation, and I've shared this, and I was like, "Oh, okay, cool. Just conversation. Yeah, okay. Y'all saw this movie. What movies do you like? How about this? 3 movies you really like instead of like a top 5, because most people don't give it that much thought." And she was like, "Well, what movies do you like? For like reference." And I was like, "Well, I just watched Forrest Gump again. I really like Forrest Gump." She's like, "Oh, I love the oldies." And I was like, "Oh, uh, yeah, 94, 94, the oldies." It was 20 years old at the time, 21 years old. Yeah, but some of those things. And then that same time frame, I don't know if it was like the same week or something, I was joking with someone and I was like, "You're such a legend. You need like one name for a nickname. You don't even need 2 names, like the singers do." And I said, like, and 3 people spoke all at once. And I think I said Madonna, someone said Beyonce, and then another person said Kesha. And I was like, "Oh, I think we just all 3 aged ourselves really well right there." I was like, that was 10 years ago. So now it's no one said Drake. For whatever that's worth. Chris Trans in here says, "Are you going to be at the Kafuzi Rabbit Shakeout on Sunday?" I am. I signed up for that one. That's the only thing that I've signed up for. I don't even know what other stuff you can or you should sign up for or what's going on. It seems like one big running festival in Boston. Someone put in one of the comments, they said, Boston content is cringe. So, okay. Although you don't have to watch it if you don't want to, and I haven't shot as much content around Boston as I thought I would as someone trying to like qualify and run Boston for 5 years. Not the full 5 years, but I resonate in a way because in prior years, every time there's Boston and Boston events and Boston stuff, I don't dive deep into it. I'm aware that it's there. I'm sure I watched Kafuzi's Boston video, Floberg's Boston video, but I wasn't retaining the information. I don't know where anything is. It didn't apply to me. Like, why would I need to know where any of that stuff is, what's going on, who's there, and all of that stuff. So, and it's not really real for me. It's just like just trying to get the kids covered. And then it hit me for the first time on Wednesday when I did that speed workout, the 8 by 2 minutes at threshold or 10K and the 8 by 1 minute at 5K pace. It was like, wait, that's it? That's like the 10-day one? When it was really like 12 days because the way it was scheduled and with Monday race. And I was like, I'm done? It's already here? Uh-oh. Like I gotta find out where all of the airline passes are. Like I have no idea. So that like I started getting the Boston app, started trying to look where the hotel is, trying to look where I'm going. Usually, I mean, I have a long time to figure it out, but I am gonna make the shakeout. That is the one I definitely know that I'm gonna be at. I don't know. If there's a Believe in the Run one after or something, I may also do that. I don't plan on being on my feet the entire time. I don't want to be on my feet too long, but I'll be around. And if I go anywhere or if I do anything and I get it all together before I fly out next Friday, I'll make a little video saying where I'm at. So Stevie76 is in there. He says, every time I take my family to the movie theater, I find I need to take out a second mortgage to pay for popcorn and drinks. Yeah, it's that's rough. It is. We got it was free refills, and I don't think I ever remember growing up and like refilling my popcorn. We refilled that thing like 8 times, just like passed it around. So, but yeah, you gotta shell it out. Bang Bang's in here. He says, Blockbuster. What about Video King? I've never heard of Video King. That's how out of business that place is. We had Hollywood Video. They're out of business too. So I actually worked. I actually worked at Blockbuster. I don't know if I told you this story, guys. This is a lot. You're going to learn a lot about me here in the next 4 minutes. I'll try to keep it brief. My first job was at my dad's construction company. I drove in the heat, in the summer heat, drove a forklift around this warehouse. There's a lot of boxes, stuff. Wasn't actually their building, right? And it sucked. So I was like, hey, you know what? I'm going to go work at McDonald's because they have air conditioning and they don't pay as well, but like I could use some air conditioning. So I was working at McDonald's and I was killing it. I was slaying. I was just, can't help it. Got to win. And it was fun. And then I found out I'm a words of affirmation guy. So they have employee of the month. And I'm like, oh, I'm going to get employee of the month. Kill it. I don't get employee of the month. I'm like, okay. So I tell my boss, I'm like, I'm going to be employee of the month. Just like, okay. The next month, they give it to this guy, Nick. Nick was picking up a bunch of shifts. I don't have that much time. I'm in school. I'm like, okay, I'm going to get employee of the month. I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to run for it. I'm going to campaign. So I like wrote down like vote for Andrew. It's a lot like the Titanic, but without all the dead people and like on the little towels. And then I just put them in the break room and stuff. And I didn't win. I didn't win employee of the month. I was like, man, tough crowd. So I told my boss, I was like, okay, this is ridiculous at this point. You need to make me employee of the month or I'm going to go work at Blockbuster. I think I was 16 years old at the time. And they're like, okay. Next month, I didn't win employee of the month. So then I went and worked at Blockbuster. I got a job. Yeah, I told you. It's just a short story, little novella right there. So classic. And I don't know what's more sad. The fact that winning employee of the month at McDonald's meant so much to me at 16, or the fact that I could never actually win employee of the month at McDonald's, that had never happened for me, just never materialized. So, but we've grown up a lot since then. We stay in it. We persevere. We don't need the words. Bosses don't. I always end up with bosses who are just like, what do you want me to say? Way to do your job. I don't, they're just not words people. And I'm a words person. And my youngest is a words guy, but the other ones aren't. So I'm just like, oh, you're doing so good. I'm so proud of you. And they're like, oh, okay, Dad. Yeah. All right. Stevie76 says YouTuber of the month. Thank you, Stevie. For March, it's my birthday month. Are we talking April? Because we got a long way to go. And Matt Byers in here. He says, I worked at Blockbuster one summer in college. That's when they started the subscription model where you got unlimited rentals and could check out 2 movies at a time. Yeah, I was part of the problem. I was there before that. I was there when it was late fees and people were not happy about their late fees, and then they would yell at you. And I was thinking about this too, because working with so many young people over the years, it's amazing that depending on where you work and what it is, like people feel like they can just yell at you, where they're, and like hostesses at Texas Roadhouse or something, somebody gets really hungry, Alamo Cafe. They just start being mean and they feel like they can just yell at you. And when I was at McDonald's, when I was 16, it was one of the high school job, some guy threw French fries at me. He did through the window. He had his big beard all the way down. And the girl ringing up his food, rang it in wrong. So I fixed it. And then she rang it in wrong again. She corrected it in the time that I took to whatever. And he opened it up and he's like, this isn't right. Give me some good French fries. And he just heaved the fries back at me. And I got out of the way and it hit my boss right on his feet. And then he stepped in. And so that was an experience. Yeah. McDonald's, it's exactly what you would think. I had a boss, like I'm hauling. Obviously, I'm hauling. I only have one speed. I'm just one gear, 5th gear. That's it. I'm there. I'm all business. I'm going straight. I'm making these burgers at threshold pace. Okay, just because I know I can't hold it for intervals, but I got at least a good 45 minutes to an hour to kill this rush. And I have some boss just going like this, waiting for, like, with the bag, jiggling the bag, going pokey posa, pokey posa, pokey posa. Uh, it's my fault really for staying with that job for so long, even then I realized this doesn't feel like a very positive work environment. Maybe I ought to get out. And then when I was at Blockbuster, I had like the best boss ever. He had like Captain America on his lanyard and his badge. He was really funny. And I told him one time, I said, I can't vacuum. He goes, why not? I said, I got a bad back. And he laughed. And he had someone else do the vacuuming every time. And he goes, no, Andy's got a bad back. And they were like, oh, and they just for the whole year, they thought I had a bad back. And I wasn't even in my prime yet. I was like 17 years old. Anyway, Bang Bang says the McFlurry machine broke again. That joke never gets old, just like the machine. Yeah, I'm not sure we had a machine at the time, or maybe we did. I don't even remember. I did have some extended family members come in and they were like, wink, wink. I'm like, what does that mean? Do you want free food? Do you want me? I don't like, is this one of those jobs where it doesn't count? Like, you know what I mean? Like it doesn't matter if I get fired for stealing, right? Like I could just give you whatever because it's just McDonald's. That's another one. People are really mean too. And I noticed too, also like there's not much compassion when you don't stuff that's out of your control. Like you don't like, even in coffee, it's like, okay, well, reasonable expectation. Eventually you're going to run out of stuff. Like you run out of coffee, you run out of something, you run out of ketchup, you run out of Splenda. And then you get the classic, how could you run out of Splenda? You're a coffee shop. You should never run out of Splenda. It's like, okay, sorry, But anyway, what the hell are we talking about? Luis is in here. He says, we had a friend in our neighborhood that worked for McDonald's. Man, did he get free burgers. Yeah, that's coffee shop's great because you get free coffee all the time. Maximizes production. McDonald's, you also got a free meal. I ate McDonald's for those 10 months almost every day. I'm not so sure I've had McDonald's since. I might have. It might have. I can't remember. Maybe once or twice. When my kids would go play there, I'd take them to the playground. I didn't really want, they've had their fair share of Happy Meals when they were younger, but I just get like a nice coffee. And on the other side of it, as a customer, this was really funny. It's not funny, but it's just a story. I went in one time. I was like, "Oh, can I get a nice coffee?" Yeah. What size would you want? And I was like, "Grande." This is probably also like 8 years ago. It was a long time ago. Kids were toddlers. They were small enough to play on the playground. And so he comes back. He gives me the large, and I was like, "Oh, I'm sorry." Right now, I said Grande because I worked at Starbucks at the time. It was, just I didn't even think about it. Thinking again, not my strong suit. And I was like, "Can I just can I get a medium?" And he looks at me, this kid in high school, and he goes, "You said grande. Grande means large in Spanish." And I was like, oh, okay. I didn't ask for a side of shame. I asked you to put the shame in it and stir it in and hand it back to me. He didn't throw, I was expecting him to throw French fries at me, but he didn't. He let me know. He educated me on Spanish. So I was like, oh, okay. Well, thanks. That being said, I'm not going to drink all this iced coffee. If you could just give me a medium, that would be lovely. Thanks. And then I did not educate him on advanced marathoning or running because it's just, what a day. What a life. CV76, you ran out of the Happy Meal toy? Yeah. That's wild. Those were long days, man. When those kids under 5, that's exponential. I've said that if you've got 2 kids under 5, you've got like 6 kids. Like Seth James Damore right now has like Seth and True Love family of 20, whatever. It's John and Kate 8 something, whatever. I don't know. There's a joke in there somewhere. You find it for me. But yeah, there's too many. You're outnumbered. There's just a lot. I got it easy with the last one. He's a little angel, and now he's 6. We're coast mostly. There's a lot, a lot going on with the middle schoolers, but Stevie76 says Royale with cheese, midlife for the resties. Yeah. I wonder if I showed my kids Pulp Fiction, if they would just be like, what is this? And that's really trippy too, is another thing is when I go back and show them movies, when I watch the movie, I swear to God, this movie Ravenous, I love Ravenous. And I had it on DVD, maybe even Blu-ray, and I showed it to all my friends in college in 1999. And they were like, dude, this is crazy. It's cannibalism movie. And it's so quirky and it's like great. And Guy Pearce is awesome. And we're just like watching the movie. And it looked crisp. It looks so clean. Now I'm like, hey, there's this movie Ravenous, and then I try to go show my wife the trailer, and it looks like it was shot in 1960, and it's like got the guy who does the voiceover, when this guy, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, what? How does this look so grainy? This looks like it was shot in 1960. Like what happened? I swear, I promise you. So like that's what I fear. Like if I'm like telling my kids like I'm gonna go show them Pulp Fiction or Forrest Gump, it'll just look like this movie that was from the 70s or 60s or something. So Bang Bang Zit says, I'll catch you later, sir. I'm gonna do my afternoon run with the Vomero 18. Be safe, y'all, and 360 awareness. Vomero 18. That one I'm not going to run in. I need to make a list of just shoes that I'm not going to run into. Thanks for stopping by, Bang Bang. That one just seems like it's still just a shoe. Just a workhorse. Just a shoe. Got some bounce, some ground contact, a lot of rebranding. Just a shoe. I like my Vomero 16. Never got the 17. I think the Vomero 16 could probably go 500,000 miles. This thing is just like those outsoles are just so, it's got all the coverage you need. Sam C says, dropping a casual lovely into a sentence. The British mannerisms getting there. Lovely. There are words that if I hear them, I say them in my head in a British accent. Like schedule, garage, schedule. I could listen to British channels all day, British running channels. Yeah. No, let's say like, they'll come to me anytime I hear them. I'm just like, oh, and as we know, bang on sub 3. All right, guys, we got to wrap this thing up here in a minute. Rob Thompson says, showed my 17-year-old Spaceballs a couple months ago. He loved it. Brooks holds up. Fifth Element also landed well. Bits and bulbs. Yeah, me bits and bulbs. Yeah, Rob, by the way, has a killer song that's up on YouTube. I'm going to have to find it. I'm going to put it in the description below regarding a taper and little third eye blind. It's coming full circle, midlife. Anyway, next week, I think we'll be back on for Wednesday because I leave on Friday. So I think we should be clear to do one last live stream the week after the race. I am not so sure because I'm taking off Friday to Monday and coming back on Tuesday. So I won't be working Tuesday either. So I've got to probably work the rest of the week and find a way to edit an epic video. I hope to see some of you guys in Boston or here in this live stream next Wednesday. We'll see if I can figure out this audio. I think what happened was I got kicked out of the room and then I went back in the room and I made this switch to this microphone at the last second. And then that's kind of what messed things up. And so anyway, hopefully we don't have any audio issues next week. See you then, guys.